You're now listening to the 11:30 podcast. Enjoy the show.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre and Willsy is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre and
No, what it do, everybody, man? Welcome back to the 11:30 podcast. Y'all already know what it is, man. It's your man Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Back at it with another episode. You know what time it is, man. It's not 7:30, it's 11:30, man. I appreciate everyone definitely tuning back in here on YouTube. If you're new to the show, before we dive into everything, and if you haven't done so already, definitely hit that subscribe button down below. Like it, leave a comment, share it, do all that great stuff. And don't forget to follow the 11:30 podcast on all social media platforms, man. For real, it's gonna be a great show, great vibing. Like I said, another episode. You guys, man, Miss Author Bae, you guys, yes, public speaker, author. She's gonna be joining me here on the 11:30 podcast. We had to reschedule the first time, but we back at it. We're gonna chop it up, have a great time. We ain't gonna waste no more time. I'm gonna bring on my wonderful guest, Miss Author Bae. How's it going?
It's going well. It's going well. How are you?
Okay, it's going well. For me, it's going nice. It's another day is a blessing. It's definitely a blessing. How life treating you?
Life has actually been good. I had like a couple little scares, but for the most part, it's been a blessing. I can honestly say.
Okay, cool. That's what's up. That's what's up. I appreciate you taking the invite coming on the show. We had to rearrange some things though, but we here today, and I appreciate you once again. But for my listeners and viewers, though, it's your first time here on the show. You mind telling everyone about yourself?
Yes, I am a 39-year-old mother of three. I actually just had my second son. I'm, as you said, an entrepreneur. I bartend. I host. I like to pretty much be in the midst of everything. I also, I'm an author, so I write in my spare time. Um, I like to live and have fun. I do a lot of traveling. I mean, I don't know. I'm a mommy first, but then I still have my nighttime life too as well. So I wear many hats. Like
So,
I stay at home mom, but then at nighttime I'm hosting events and I'm doing a nightlife as well. Then I got my other endeavors as far as, like I say, public speaking to just all ages, and also look, they go my son, my 1-year-old right there, and I also podcast and I YouTube as well. So I'm all over the place. I left my full-time job to do what I wanted, and this is here I am.
hey, that's what's up. That's what's up. How does working out for you? You just said you just had a baby also. And you have a little 1-year old in the background. You just
Yeah, I'm
do
about to
so
cut
much stuff.
off because he likes to be a part of my shows on my YouTubes. He's always making his guest appearance.
Of
Um,
course, and my son too.
so when I decided to go and do the things that I'm passionate about, I already had trained myself that it's not going to be about the money. The money will come, So that was a major thing because just like as far as me I'm going through a divorce right now. So I'm
Okay.
actually going through a divorce. In the midst of it, I still had my son, obviously, but it was a lot of stress. There was 2 deaths I dealt with. The one death was the one I had to cancel about. Then I lost my younger sister a few months ago. So it just that broke my leg. So okay, I'm sorry. Let me put his iPad on so he could get off this daggone show. See, this is when I say I'm a
Well,
mom to real life. This is
no,
this is the part
it's
people don't see. You know
no,
what?
it's fine. My little man just do the same thing. I had to calm him down. He's in the other room trying to put something on TV for him, so he's definitely wild though. But how you doing mentally though? You just said you're dealing with a couple of deaths that was in your family. I'm sorry for that. And also you got kids and stuff like that. So you know got to keep yourself up.
Right. So you know what? I'm glad you asked that because that's kind of what I was going to touch base with. Hopefully, when we did talk, because mentally now where I'm at when I said I'm blessed, yes, but I mean the pregnancy itself was stressful. It was the first pregnancy I did by myself. I have 3 kids. I have an 18-year old. She'll be 19. Her dad's deceased, and then I have my 1-year old, which is with my husband as well. But this one. it's the same, father, but this was by myself, dealing with the deficits for, and I broke my ankle, got surgery during it. So it caused a lot of stress on me. As you can, when I canceled the show, I went into labor the next week. You know what I mean? So just to go through that by myself, um, it was very, I would say, traumatizing. And then dealing with the hospitals, I don't recommend hospitals for Black women. I wish, a lot of us would do home births. Me personally, I'm not fully holistic yet. I'm getting there, but just the treatment in itself. However, you know, um, my son turned breech. He lived in my womb for 8 days with no water. So I was in the hospital for a while, for 8 days before he came. Um, having to advocate for myself to not get a C-section and all this stuff, because that's what they push on us women,
Hmm.
especially the Black women, to kind of cut down on, us having more children, but we don't heal properly either from that. So having to advocate against doctors by myself was very trying. But I did have my son vaginally. He was breached, no fluid, but we showed them doctors that this is, everything's gonna be okay. So he is in a NICU. However, he's not on no machines. He's really just pretty much waiting to get meet a couple milestones, but there's not, he's actually perfectly fine. He's doing better than a lot of full-time babies. So, as
Oh,
far as
okay.
my mental now, I'm more grateful and blessed that I stood on business with them. And there's a lot of people that do want me to speak about, people advocating for themselves amongst the doctors. So I just, right now, I am doing a lot better mentally.
Hey, that's good to hear. That's really good to hear. And I know from experience, I like I said, just had a 1 year old, and his mom was definitely going through the same thing where it was like they, pushed more so to try to have her have C-section. Did you was all of your kids more so C-section, or did you get them naturally? You said.
So my oldest actually had a C-section. I was 19, and I didn't know, all the tactics that doctors use on us is like things that'll scare you. So at the time, her heart rate's going down, and as a first time mother, I'm like, oh, okay, well, do whatever you need to do. So I got a C-section. The C-section was fine. As I educate myself, down the line, I found out that I didn't have to get one. So 17 years later, when I decided to have my son, I was strictly on. I had already done enough research on, under no circumstances, if it's not, I feel like if you're not dying in the moment, I feel like you should fight for yourself, because our bodies are not made to get cut like that. So, as far as my both of my sons, I have a 1 year old and a newborn, they were vaginally under
Hmm.
all, like, and it's pushed way more now than it was back then. Now it's any reason, and it's actually by force, because the experience I had at the hospital, they were either going to turn away my care just recently because of how hard I was going, or the next thing was they was going to try to say I was mentally incompetent to not consent, because I went and signed to get a cesarean. That's what they was going to lean on. So it's more force now. But so no, only one of my children were C-section.
Hey, how's the healing process though?
For C-sections.
Yeah, I mean, just you and in general, just like you said, so much going on with the, you just had,
So mentally healing. Oh my goodness. You, I'm really just taking it day by day. It's another reason why I kind of pushed off the interview. I didn't want to come from an emotional standpoint. I didn't want to come
understand.
deep in my emotions. Because a lot of times you'll get people who like to listen to that because they're where they're at emotionally too. And I rather journal where my emotions and talk about it once I'm in more of just more in a level headed. So as far as now, I'm able to the journey of healing is really just finding, I guess, finding your lesson, finding your I guess embracing it, because we go through things to help others. I believe that we are to heal each other. We're put in situations because, just to be able to speak and help someone else, or show, I guess I would say, like the greatness of coming through it, like the journey coming through it. That's
That's
what I.
what's I dig it though. I like I said, I like the perseverance, from you, like it's just you meet certain people, especially for me myself, when I different talk to different people each and every week, and so much that they literally go through. And from what you saying, just losing two people, and having the baby, and then dealing with the hospital, it got to be a lot though. And you say you got a nightlife too. You say host events.
Yeah, so I host different events in the bars or the clubs. I bartend, because
Okay.
this I got my little side money. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so just it's hard. It is hard being it's hard juggling. Here you go. It's hard juggling everything, but it's when you're determined, you make it fun. You make it easy.
Okay, okay.
Yep.
Through all of this though, how does entrepreneurship sort of begin for you? Because I know, like I said, you are an author and a speaker. How did that journey begin for you? Because you got a book out, which I want to get into, called "What's Next Part One," and I was reading the overview of the review about how this 16-year, well, it's mainly about this 16-year-old girl, and she wanted to tell this story though. So yeah, how did this author journey begin for you? Was it something what did you always had in mind or passionate about, or something just led you down to writing a book, or you know?
It was both. So I've been writing since I was 8 years old. Um, my family issues and stuff like that. I would write from poetry, short stories with a large imagination. I would dream about being famous. Now, as far as book writing, I didn't know that this was going to be something I was going to ever do, like, on a wide scale. I just had a wild imagination. So that's just something I did as a kid. I was in all types of creative writing programs. I always had the best essays, the best book reports. Fast forwarding, I got into reading hood books when I'll say about 14. And the first book I read was The Coldest Winter Ever by Sister Soldier. So that's how I got turned on to the hood books. Before that, I would read like Goosebumps and stuff like that. When I got in my early 20s, I worked like this full-time job. And at this point, um, my oldest child, it was just me and her dad was murdered. So I already had certain traumas, coming with me. But I just would read the books in my spare time when I wasn't at work. And one day I got bored with the books. No offense to the hood books, but I started feeling like they were like hood fairy tales. I felt like
Yeah.
they were a little bit exaggerated. Um, Nothing was like realistic. You know what I mean? I couldn't relate. I used to wish I could relate to it 100%, but I couldn't. Everything was so perfect. The girl was flawless. The guy had all the money or whatnot. So I had always said that one day I'm going to write a book on myself, but I'm not going to alter it. So that the idea I first said would have probably been in like 2007 or 8. Um, I didn't start writing my book until 2009. So I actually started my book in 2009 when I got fired from my job. I did attempt to do it, and then I had writer's block for like 8 years. So,
Oh.
I started it. I had 12 chapters in 2009, and I didn't write again. I picked it back up in 2021, and kind of set a goal to get done, and that's how What's Next Part One got completed. I was at the time we was going through our first divorce. We were going through the divorce. We ended up calling it off, but I just utilized that time to just stay consistent to myself and do something for me,
Mm.
and I was able to get done with that book, and it, I mean, it took off more than what I thought it would. I didn't. I was just really just telling the story. It's a real story. Everything in the book is 100% real. Um, I open up with a suicidal attempt because that's where I was in 2009 when I did start writing. So I kind of talking people into my mental because I fought suicide for 28 years. So this is I am now. It'll be 3 years in May that I don't even think of not living, not being here. I know that I have a purpose, but I fought mental health since I was 8 years old. And a lot of people didn't know that. They found out in 2021 when I released my book. So a lot of people that I went to school with didn't know because where I'm from, and I'm from the hood, like a lot of that, we had our like drug addict parents or family members, but a lot of us, it seems like a lot of us don't think that way. But you'd be
Mm.
surprised, so I just started speaking on it. And the moment I did start speaking on it, it was like weights lifted off my chest. And it made it easier for me to not want to keep feeling that way. You know what I'm saying? So it just, so that's how I even became into public speaking, because as much as I felt like I was weird all those years, because these are some that I battled with, so many people flooded me with like, thank you. And this is what I'm going through. I never thought this. And so here I am now. So the writing of it's been a lot of it all goes together on how I got into everything.
I think it's awesome. I mean, sort of kind of answer my next question. What made you sort of pick it back up? You know, was it that you wanted to share your story with others, or also, you know, just write down what you were going through?
So what made me actually do it? So March 13th, my birthday is the 14th. So March 13th, 2021. So I said I fought suicide. I never tried to attempt. March 13th, I actually did try to kill myself. This is when it came out. Like my best friend, I've been best friends with her for over 20 years. She never knew that, like she knew I had certain, like I would have my depressed moments when I would go through things, just because I dealt with a lot of, traumatic experiences. But she never knew the severity of, where I was mentally as a kid, all the way through that I battled with. So when I tried to kill myself, I sent her my suicide. Remember, again, I'm talking about with my all of my bank information, this and the third. And okay, you can sit with me. And when I did that, um, at that time, I kind of like panicked. I did try to do it. And it was like an out of body experience. I started panicking, like, oh wait, you can't go out like this. And I'm trying to get help at the time. I did get the help, and I did start. I started trauma therapy with a therapist. But with that being said, I had loved ones when they found out, this is what I had been battling with. They kind of pretty much, just they didn't make me feel like I was crazy or anything like that. They made me feel like we need you to be here. Like we don't know where we'd be without you. And so at that point, I wanted to see what they saw. Like as far as them, they would say you're so dope. And this, I wanted to believe what they said. I didn't believe nothing that nobody, I never felt that I was a dope person or this and a third, but I
Why?
wanted to,
Why not?
because you know what, now that where I'm at now, I think it was just all the experiences as a child. But as far as when I was 8 years old, and I had realized I had been molested since I was younger, that it at the time that I realized I wasn't no longer getting it, it was no longer being done anymore. So I didn't even know how to express that to my mom, you know what I mean, at the time. And then I was already going with through abuse with my mom. She was physically and emotionally abusive. So at a young age, I felt like God put me in a situation like he hated me. That's the way I felt just as a child. You know what I mean? Because a child
Wow.
doesn't understand, why they're in certain situations that are uncomfortable, and it seems like there's nobody, there's no comfort there. So having that just so young, and then fast forward to when I get with my daughter's dad, just looking for that savior, you know what I mean? Somebody, because his family took me in and showed me so much. It was more love than I had experienced with my own. So just not wanting to lose that. Then you clinging on for the wrong reasons, because there's so much that's, that's empty. So when you have that, and then there's we're young, but he's in the streets, and there's different little things that come along with that turf, and then he gets murdered, and then it just, after that, I experienced one of my homegirl's daughters passed away in my house. When I say it was just traumatic after traumatic, it would seem like, what do you got me here for? And this is the way, depending on your upbringing, depending on your thought process, you'll be thinking like, this, you gotta hate me to put me in these. You don't know how to really deal with that. It's like everything is just negative, so that's why I always felt like my life wasn't valuable. I don't feel like that now, but those are some of the reasons that did get me to that point.
Hmm. Uh, at 8 years old, at 8 years old, you would think a kid just want to be a kid, but you were going through traumatic experiences at a very young age. Where at 8 years old, you just want to play around and have fun, go to school, and etc. But like how you said, you were molested, and did you have anyone sort of to turn to other than your mom? Because like you said, she was physically and emotionally abused, so it wasn't like you could sort of run to her, right?
No, I grew up an only child because my so my mom has an older son. He's so I'm 39. My mom's older son should be like 59, but she don't know him. Like, he was taken off for her. She was a heroin addict at the time. So she never went to go find him. So I have a brother I heard that we do not know. We cannot find him. Um, I want to find him personally now myself, where I'm at now in life. But when I used to,
Have you attempted to?
I did. The only thing is, so I have his date of birth and I have his name. Um, I tried to find like the CYF records on him, and they don't have the information because he was in CYF. So I think honestly I would probably have to pay, ancestry or something to trace them, because when I look up the name, a lot of them come up. I've tried to, and I called this one guy. He's like, "You call me every few years. It ain't me. I hope you found your brother, but he has the same initials and stuff." So I have attempted. It's gotta, I guess, go a little further with it.
Okay. Okay.
So
Oh
yeah.
wow. Wow. So you said you grew up as the only child?
Yeah, so and then it gets greater. So my dad, who my mom told me was my dad, is not my real dad. But even him, so we'll start right there. Let's stick to when me thinking that was my dad. His kids were older too. My parents had me late. Now I found out that he's not my real dad. I don't know my real dad, so we're trying to find that too. Because I never felt a connection with, my dad. I think that he just knew, and it says he wasn't mean to me, but it never was like a daddy daughter thing. It was
Hmm.
kind of more so like, I'll be here. Just I'm gonna go with the flow. He was getting himself together because they both were heroin addicts. They both were in a process of getting clean. So I know I didn't have anybody to like talk to um at that age. No. When I did start getting people sent to me, at that point I had already been like traumatized, and now I walk around with a chip on my shoulder.
Look at after going through what you went through, and which is a lot. That's a lot. I will walk around with a chip on my shoulder as well. What moment did you find out he wasn't your dad?
So it was always talked about when I was younger. Now, like I say, I was so broken as a kid, I really didn't care about stuff like that. I didn't care that my
Hmm.
mom had a son that I didn't ever even call him my brother. I used to say my mom got an older son. I didn't care about family. So as a child, the conversation would have like there'll be times where my mom would be talking about my aunts from my dad's side, and she'll be like, "Yeah, they say this." Now I never had a problem with them because they were good to me. They might be saying I'm not my dad's real daughter, but they didn't treat me funny. So I really didn't care. And at a young age, I already knew how to look at things realistically because my mom had exposed me to a lot of adult business. And then with most likely from me being abused, I always looked at things realistically. So even though when I was told, when she would say things, I didn't put things past her. I knew she was a heroin addict when I was conceived, and she used to prostitute and stuff like that. So it wasn't like it was unbelievable to me. I had comments no, I don't look like nobody in my dad's family. I don't look like anybody. Um, so I just didn't care. Just coming up, honestly, I didn't care where I came from because I just hated my whole situation anyway. So but as I got older, it started becoming a super issue when my grandma had a conversation with me as I'm an adult. I think I was like 35 maybe. And my grandma's like, "Yeah, you don't look nothing like Smitty. Your mom knows who your dad is. It's such and such." And I'm like, I still didn't care, but I believed her. I believed my grandma. And I just think that they were tired of harboring my mom, like harboring the whole situation, because now I'm grown, I don't look like them. And so it really started being heavy, about 4 years ago. Now it did start bothering me within this last year, because now that I'm going through my own healing, I like to see where I come from. So my mom admitted it to me right before my dad. My dad passed away in 2021. The one that she put and lied and said was my dad. Right
Okay.
before he passed away, she admitted it, but she plays a lot of mind games. My mom doesn't like to like really take full accountability for anything. So I still don't have 100% answers. And the bad thing about it is, the one guy, she don't even have his first and last name. So it's like a nickname. So, but my aunt's like, "I don't even want you to hunt this man down, and he ain't the dad," because your mom's not being fully honest with her life. And where I'm at right now in my healing, I have to get to a point of forgiving her for that, because my biggest thing is I would just rather her just be honest. She ain't the first or the last has been in a situation like this. And I'd rather you just be like, look, I was getting high. I just do not know. Instead of trying to, because I wouldn't even just, at this point you can't, it'll be almost 40 years ago. I'm 39. So it's like you really can't
Yeah.
explain, but so much. But the lies and stuff like that does get a little aggravating, because my livelihood has been, you know what I mean, just to not know where I come from, just to not see where I get certain skills from, certain things. I just want to know, but it's becoming real. It's, I would say, like in my 30s is when it really actually fully came out.
Okay, okay. When was that moment that you realized? When was that moment that sort of hit you that you realized you were, worth it after being through so much traumatic situations and finding out your dad is not really your dad and so much when was it the moment that that you realized you were sort of worth more than just not being here or dealing with suicide.
So when I was going through when I first filed my divorce, this was 3 years ago, and like I said, the suicide, and I'm now went to go get trauma therapy. So during that time, I had told my best friend, like, once I start with the thing with therapy. Therapy's good, but that's only like a start. It's not going to heal you. It's just where you go and you express. But if you ain't doing work, you could just be expressing for the next 20 years, and So what a
Mhm.
therapist would give me, my therapist might give me some packets to read, and I would read over things, that people may have studied on people that's some similar to me, some not. So in the midst of that, I start just learning little different techniques and ways to cope with things, or self-sabotage, all different type of things about your mind. I also was doing my own research on just the thought process, how you can think your way into bad things, or if things happen to you, we hold on. What happens is, as humans, we hold on to our experiences, and it causes us to be prisoners to it for years. And when you don't know any better, you'll do it. So, anyways, I started doing a lot of, like, footwork on just trying to get through certain things. And that's in the midst of that, that's when I set the goal. I was like, you know what, in my spare time, I'm going to write, and I'm gonna get done with my book. So honestly, as I set a goal for myself, and I gave myself 30 days, as I set a goal for myself, and really, I would say, and I would do affirmations during the daytime. I would I would look in in the mirror every day and tell myself, like, I'm going to learn to love myself. Like, I'm going to see, I would say these things. And I would say maybe like 15 days. And it was like a motivation. I was very determined, very, very determined to just find purpose, and to really just, you know, I just didn't want to be thinking how I've thought for the last 28 years. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
People say things like, "Oh, people who kill themselves, they're selfish because of their kids." But if they don't want to live for themselves, they can't want to live for their children, because they don't want to live for them. So it had to be, I had to get selfish and think outside of my daughter. It was only me and my daughter at the time. And as I got closer and seen I was getting done with the book, I started getting, it was like a real life natural high. And I did start seeing, I started feeling good about myself. Even when I said I'm gonna do this photo shoot, and I said I'm gonna come different than any author ever came. Everything I said I was gonna do, I began to do, and it would keep me grounded and motivated. And I felt like there was power in that, and I felt like I was dope for that. And then when I actually did complete something for me that I said I was gonna do, that's when I really started seeing the beauty in myself, and started embracing, even my looks, flaws and all. For years, I never thought I was pretty, and people could not believe that. They're like, "What? Are you serious?" I felt so ugly. I felt so tainted. At a young age, I felt, dirty. You know what I mean? So, um,
Was it because what you experienced and went through that you felt
right,
like that?
right. Because when I found out, so like I said, when I found out I was molested, it was not happening no more. And this, like, to get into frank detail, I was in the second grade, second or third grade. Um, but we used to have the desks. I don't know if you remember the desks. The desks were all connected. You would have the chair and that little
Yeah,
board thing was connected. Okay,
yeah.
so I was in a desk like that, and I had like, the way the book was positioned. It was a familiar feeling that I felt in my memory. And it's so crazy when something traumatizing happens to you at a young age. A lot of times our minds train us to forget, especially if it's traumatic. It's just something that's not healthy. Your body know, your brain knows that. So when I realized that it would the memory would come in and out, but I could not remember who it was. And it wasn't happening. Like at 8 years old, I pretty much know, I know things are bad. So I didn't know how to even go say anything to my mom because at that I know who the person is now, by the way. But at the time, no, I didn't know. So I didn't even know how to go express that, because now then when you're a person who went through abuse, sometimes you'll blame yourself. And it's like, well, how am I going to tell what happened? It ain't even nothing going on now. Like they're not going to want to take it serious. You'll start, like debating on yourself. So, that was the beginning of me just feeling unclean. Now, as far as the emotional and toxic abuse from my mom and physical abuse, I didn't know that I was abused with her until I started being around functional parents. If that's the norm that you've been seeing, you know what I'm saying? You just think that you're supposed to be talking to like that. You're supposed to be treated this way. And as I start being around others, I won't want to be home. And then um, my grandma at the time, I mean, I love my grandma. She did change, towards the end of her life. But, as a child, my grandma did a lot of neglecting to me. Like she fed me cold food because of her own insecurities with me being her step grandchild. She had her own thing. So it was a ball of things that I was going through and experiencing at a young age. So by the time I hit 15, I didn't believe in family. Like I felt like I got more love from the streets. And a lot of times outside of writing, I found ways in making people laugh. I like to laugh to get away from how I felt in the inside. So I would like to make you laugh, and that would make me feel good, as a kid coming up, just laughing to keep from crying, you know.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you know, keeping from laughing from crying. But wow, that's the more I can really say is just wow. Uh, you mentioned earlier that you had a situation where you felt like, man, God didn't love you, and God didn't, why would He put you in these certain situations? Do you have a better relationship with God now?
I'm very spiritual. I believe in the Most High, and I believe we're given situations. I just think that we are just to heal and save each other. Like I believe that our ancestors did the same thing prior to us. Um, I do believe in certain sayings like no more than you can bear and stuff like that. I believe that the battles are given based on what our purpose is to do in our timing in our physical body. You know, um, as a kid, I used to shout up to the sky like, "You hate me? Why do you got me here? You hate me!" Like, and I'm getting to the point where, so my mom's the last person I gotta forgive, and it is very hard. Like, it's very hard when I don't when and this is something that people won't admit. Let me tell you something. Because I was abused, I became an abuser to my daughter. I would talk to her and I would beat her out of anger. I didn't realize that I was an abuser until my daughter was 12. So I fought hard to even get to where I refused for me and my daughter to go out like how me and my mom is. I refused for her to go out and not feel love through her demise and look for love in the wrong places. So I refuse to let her go out and have anger on her because of the experience that she experienced with me. And now she's, a bitter person, and now she's blaming because you get to a point where when you do go through things in life, if you let it control you, what happens is you become poisonous to yourself. Like I said, you be a prisoner to your situation. So that's the type of situations you stay in because it's familiar. So I just didn't want that for my daughter. But um I pretty much, well, I've lost my train of thought of what I was saying on why on as far as just as far as relationship with God. So as far as that, yes, I have a better relationship with the Most High. I do believe that. I mean, when I just had my son, I literally cried out to God and said, "Look, I need comfort right now." You know what I'm saying? Because one of my biggest things was the fact that, even I'm going through divorce, I still felt like I needed him there to help advocate with the situation, and
Mm,
it hurted to be there alone. You know what I'm saying? But I told the Most High, like, you got to show yourself. I need comfort, and you got to show these doctors that at the end of the day they don't got no say so. Like, please. And that's exactly what happened. Everything that I spoke to, it showed. Like I said, my son's perfectly fine. So yes, I do have a relationship with the Most High. I'm not big on religion though. So I went through
It's cool.
different religions, and
Hmm.
when you I'm not going to speak against nobody, because I feel like everything serves its purpose. It all has some truth to it. So I don't want to offend anybody, but when you build your mind spiritually, you'll learn that it's bigger than religion. So I believe in the Bible to an extent because it is a living book. I do believe a lot of when they talk about faith, like the faith the size of a mustard seed, the power to be able to move mountains. Those are true. I've watched, manifestation. I've manifested. Like when you say, when did you find out you was dope? The crazy thing is, I manifested my book being a number one seller. I didn't know that's what I was doing, but I had wrote that in my about the author, and when it dropped, it really was a number one seller. It was number one on Amazon so long that it was out of stock to where you could, like, they was ordering it too much, so I believe in, just, you can make your life a heaven or you can make your life a hell. That's and I do believe in, you know, I think we kind of water down our own power, but I believe in the Most High, and I believe that we are made in the image of the Most High, and I do believe that that
Okay.
person. So
I dig it. I definitely dig it though. You represent the broken, and the ones that come from the struggle. What would you tell, the next, young lady or the next woman who may be sort of afraid to share their story to overcome, or yeah, overcome what they um been through.
I would tell them they're not alone. Don't think that you're crazy. That's a self sabotage. That's your lower self wanting to keep you low. So you be surprised who needs your voice to make them understand that they're not alone. And that's why I do it now. I get so many inboxes of people's business. They want answers I'm still looking for, but I'm glad I could be a comfort to them, because I remember when I felt like nobody understood. Somebody understands you. There's so that's what I would tell them. Like, don't sabotage yourself. That is just the enemy. It's your lower self just not wanting you to stay where you at. You
Mm.
know
I got you. I got what inspires you? What keeps you motivated now?
what keeps me motivated is, I'm gonna just be honest. It's everybody who come to me, like, they'll tell me like thank you, and when they share their situation, everybody don't want to share their story, and they don't have to.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
Everybody don't have, everybody has their position. There's the workers, there's the
Hmm.
entrepreneurs, everybody, to make it a functional system in this world. But when people come to me and thank me, and they look to that, that's how I know that I'm doing something right. And that's why I say, like, I can't talk from emotional standpoints, because I don't want people to stay in those emotions. You know what I'm saying? So I rather speak once I'm out of, because I still get in the dark places. And that's why I don't believe in looking up to, when people tell me they look up to me, I'd be like, oh no, don't. I might fall short. I'm still human. I don't want to let you down. But that's what keeps me motivated. And also my children, because my children are watching me. Um, I like that me and my daughter are growing together. She got to see me transition. She seen me go from a toxic parent to this, to more
Hmm.
understanding. Now my daughter tells me everything. She don't feel the need to hide. I see a total change. So and then I'm even motivated more to have a second chance at being a parent, to do better than what I did, prior to. So it's a couple of things that keep me grounded and motivated.
Look here, Miss Arthur Bay. This was a wonderful, wonderful conversation chat with you. I think you are awesome and dope. So keep doing what you're doing. Um, th- like I said, I think you're inspiring. Just share your story. Like you said, not too many people want to come out and share their story. They just feel like maybe they're not worth it, or feel like who's going to listen to me or whatever like that. But I feel like we all have a purpose. Whatever you know is, and how long it may take for each one of us to find out that purpose. But we all have a purpose, whether it's sharing a story or sharing what we've been through or whatever like that. And I feel like when you said young ladies look up to you, and I think because maybe they might have been in a situation or had some traumatic experiences, but may not may didn't have the confidence to speak on that, and I think you probably have brought it out, and which everything that you have said, which I feel like it takes a lot, after going through a lot of that stuff, and suicide and losing so many different you know people. You will want to crawl up in the ball and go in the corner and don't come out, but you persevere, and I think like you said, we all have a purpose, and your purpose is to share your story with different people and many people in the world. I love it. I thank you for coming through here on the show. Before you go, you have any questions, any shout outs, anything you would like to say?
Now I'm going to definitely come follow all those pages so I can keep up with your show. I would just, I'm, you can always come follow me. I'm on Miss Author Bae on every platform. I do YouTube and I talk about a lot of things, on the videos I do drop when I do drop them. But no, just anything that somebody's doing, just go hard at it. Don't stop. Don't just give it your best. And there's no failing. Even when you fail, you get back up. That's especially if you're still breathing. You here for a reason.
I got you. I got you. Look here, I appreciate you. Once again, all the links will be down below. Everyone who's watching, tuning in, definitely make sure you go follow Miss Author Bae. Grab a copy of her book. Like I said, go follow her on social media and all that great stuff. For real. We're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. We're gonna wrap up the show. Got the WTF moment and more. You guys, man, don't move. You're listening and you're watching to the 11:30 podcast. You did, man. Miss Author Bae, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
TV is more than cable for less than cable. More unexpected plot twists.
Ooh.
Less unexpected fees. More committing to new shows.
Ooh.
Less committing to an annual contract. More being held in suspense. Less being held on hold. More modern. More simple. More than cable for less than cable. Try YouTube TV for free.
Yo, what up? This your boy Kenneth Stones, aka Kofi Weaston.
It's your boy D.O.E. Good Brother Bowl.
And we are the Dirty Hills. You already know, man, you tuning in to 11:30 podcast. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Dude, that's my job. Not 7:30, but 11:30.
Yeah. And you have been Dirty Hills.
Be back here on the 11:30 podcast show, man. Appreciate everyone sticking with me throughout the break. Yo, Miss Author Bae, thank you for coming through here on the 11:30 podcast show this week. Great time having you on. Yo, you guys, man, this was really a great conversation. Really heavy. I thank Miss Author Bae for sharing her story, man, and just overcoming and trying to be the best version of herself. Really awesome show. During the break, I'm up here yelling at my little man and telling him to sit down and stuff. So, yo, man, really awesome show, man. Yo, it's May, and you guys, man, this Sunday is Mommy's Day. It's Mother's Day, so I want to say right now, shout out to all the moms out there. Happy Mother's Day, and I wish all the moms out there, including my fiance and my mom and mom-in-law and everyone else, my sisters, everyone, and all the moms out there. Like I said, enjoy their day, and enjoy it with abundance, man. And don't let nothing really get to you. It's Mother's Day. You deserve it. Moms out there, especially single moms, man. I definitely talked about it, how my mom, growing up, was a single mom. I had a stepdad, but I remember, he passed away in January of '98, and I was only 7 years old. So and I had certain father figures, throughout my lifetime, whether it, was my uncles or, or having my brother, my big brother come in, into my life, and just so many aspects of it. And now that I'm a dad and seeing things from a very different perspective, man, and putting on my little man's shoes or just telling him to sit down or whatever like that, just brings me back to times where even when I was a little kid and my mom was doing the same thing or giving her trouble putting on my shoes or whatever like that. So mommy, I love you. Mama, happy Mother's Day. I'm trying to do something extravagant, with the podcast. And I know people, I've seen a lot of people over the last, 4.5 years podcasting and networking with, and some of them not doing it no more. And some of them aren't, and some, that I still have the opportunity to still chat with and do podcast episodes till this day. And I noticed that, especially when the pandemic hit, and a lot of people lost their jobs, man. And I know, my mom was one of them, man. And I sort of got upset. I didn't sort of let her know, but I sort of got upset because it was like, man, my mom been working at this awesome, hotel for 20, 25 years or so, man. And the pandemic hit, and boom, it was like, let go. You gotta figure something else out. And for a little bit it was rough for my mom, and definitely figuring something else out. And I always told her, man, I'm gonna buy you a house and you don't have to work no more, so. And I think that's with a lot of us. If maybe not, I can't speak for everyone, but I can definitely speak for myself, man. And my mom, like I said, was a single mom and did her damnedest to raise all four of her children, and we seen it, whether she might was a little stressed a little bit or whatever, man, but we seen it. But as far as me, I seen my mother, work her tail off and strive to put food on the table, keep the bills on and everything. And I think she deserved, way more than, I can even possibly think to give her. So like I said, I can only speak for myself, but as being a human, being, we all sort of, we got here through the mama womb. We came out and we sort of have that, we got that mama's love. My little man, mama come to the door, he running to her, and I was like, bro, you was not just acting like this like 5, 10 minutes ago, man. Go sit down. But it's just that bond, it's just that love there, so we all adore our mothers, man, and the mother figures that we have in our lives, whether it's auntie, grandma, or whatever like that, a nana, so happy Mother's Day to my mom and to all the moms out there, to my beautiful fiance as well, and still is new that we are parents, going on 2 years, little man about to be two, and it's just time is just flying by, time is flying by, and it just brings a smile to your face because every time you come through the door, he lights up, especially when mama come through the door and you realize mommy ain't around, mama, come through the door, she lights up. Same thing with me, I can come out the room and you be like, oh yeah, yeah, so it's such an awesome feeling. So even Miss Author Bae earlier in the show having her child, on making a special appearance on the show, doing cameos. So I know it's awesome. My little man does it as well. So um, I don't know what else I can more say about that besides just all the moms out there, man. Just enjoy your day this weekend and happy Mother's Day. All right, you guys, man. Before the break, I told you guys, man, we got the WTF moment, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Yo, it's time for the WTF moment of the week, you guys. Yes, WTF moment of the week. Yo, my little man is definitely, giving hard times to his mama now ever since she came back in the house. But you guys, man, WTF moment of the week. Yo, man, right here in DC, man, like right now, uh, over the last week, man, been some real crazy news, man. And one of them was Dunbar High School. I went to Dunbar High School. I went to the original OG Dunbar High School, class of '09. And but at the new Dunbar a couple of days ago, man, really strange. I'm talking about like WTF, man. I couldn't imagine, getting that call if I was, that parent or any of the parents just to, say that. But yeah, two teens, man. It was about nine something in the morning. What was it? What day was that? The other day, I can't even think what day it was. Actually, it was Friday. Friday. Yes, you guys. Yes. This past Friday, two teens, nine something in the morning. School had literally just started about a half an hour ago, and they out there shooting, and they out there shooting, and one of the bullets goes through the glass of the
Violent
school.
day in the district in Northwest D.C. A teen girl was shot while in school, grazed by a bullet from a shootout that was happening outside of Dunbar High School.
Yeah, tonight we're getting a look at new surveillance images. Homa Bash at police headquarters with the very latest.
Shot after shot fired right outside Dunbar High School just before 10 o'clock Friday morning. Doorbell cameras caught multiple angles from homes on Kirby Street. In this one, you see a group of teenagers walking, hear the barrage of bullets, and then everyone scatters. Just down the block and moments later, this camera captured 15 juveniles running down an alley. We are blurring it because it's not clear to which extent all of these teens are involved. But you can see at least two of them holding guns in their hands as they run.
It was like machine gun fire. There were so many shots, and most of them, like they hit a car right there, and they hit my neighbor's stuff. And so I just kind of scooted back inside and got behind a brick wall and waited for the shooting to stop.
This video was provided to Fox 5 by Justin Samasco, who was drinking coffee on his porch at the time. He's lived here 15 years and says, sadly, this has become their norm. Do you feel safe? What do you want to see happen?
No, we never feel safe here.
The spray of gunfire shattering several car windshields on the street and windows at Dunbar High School. A bullet grazing a 17-year-old student in the head as she sat in class on the second floor.
WTF, man. WTF all the way, man. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. And then they showed the two pictures of the guys, man. I was like, yo, these two dudes look like they about 14, 15. And I'm just like, bro, like all I can just say is what the fuck, man. And and survive, and wasn't anything else like that, because that would have been a very traumatic experience for all the other classmates and everything like that, even for the girl's family. So just prayers go out to the girl, and hope she's safe and everything like that. But you guys, man, WTF moment of the week, man, for real, man. Yo, it's been a wonderful show. The 11:30 podcast, Talk Pro Wrestling, is back, you guys. This Saturday, we're gonna be talking more wrestling, man. Going over everything that went down this week, the King of the Ring tournament, as well as we're gonna talk more on Backlash, more specifically that crowd in France was just ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous. More chatter. Also, you guys, a topic that I want to dive into: the greatest WWE Thunderdome / pandemic moments, man. And I guess number one, obviously, got to be Roman Reigns coming back, winning the Universal Championship, and to go on to have a 1,300 day championship reign. So, I mean, like, come on, man. But it's just so many moments. Definitely tune in this Saturday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We live on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitch, YouTube, you name it, man. So definitely tune in, you guys, man. And also, Commission Talk is live this Wednesday on the Buzzing with Marlo YouTube channel and Facebook and social media platforms. So definitely tune in. Brian B will not be on with us this week, so he'll be joining us the following week. He was on Talk Pro Wrestling a couple of days ago, this past Saturday, when we was talking Backlash. Really great, fun conversation. So definitely shout out to the Beeline Entertainment, and definitely go subscribe. But you guys, man, I'm about to head on out of here, and yo, you guys, man, enjoy the rest of your day, man. For real, for myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, stay safe, stay blessed, give all the glory to God, man. Won't he do it? Yo, until next time. Peace. I'm out, man.
I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. 11:30 podcast, Dre on Wheels, he is the one. Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Let's get it, yeah. Who with me? Yeah. I'm from the city, DC, that's where I'm from. Let's get it. 11:30 podcast, Dre Dre on wheels, he is the one.
He the one, nigga.
So let's breeze, baby.
He the one.
With me, so
Yeah.
breeze, baby. Let's get it. You with me. Yeah, they gon' hate, but they ain't stopping this. I'ma keep making hits. Dre and Wills, you know it ain't no copying. Was you sitting there on the carpet with us? Yeah, we knew we had some options. We blessed, we ain't got no problems.